We're here for the GT2 RS Clubsport Challenge. Last year, we did the street car version. I was fortunate enough to get an allocation for this Clubsport, and we said, wow, it would be a great idea to have the sequel.
Started off driving a street car like everybody else does. We've been involved with Porsche, with the driver's ed, and then club racing for about 10 years now. That passion has grown, and recently we just took the plunge and we bought a 2018 GT3 Cup car. I thought, what better place to look for a car with race history than Europe? So this particular car ran in the German Super Cup. Won the races at Hockenheim and Monte Carlo. I asked the seller to not take one decal off of it. So the way you see the car is the way it came off the track. And our goal with this car is to get it into the next Rennsport. Akimoto out of Madison, Wisconsin has prepared our GT3 Cup car. It's race ready. It's set up to run in the GT7 class here in PCA. We're hoping that today we can show everybody that that car is just as competitive as the GT2 Clubsport.
So as you recall, last year, the Cup car was dialed in for Road America. Brian Sellers, the pro driver, was able to put down probably a record-setting time. The GT2 RS, however, was basically as it came off the boat. There was no dialing in. A person bought the car at the dealer, brought it to the racetrack, and we were able to do a low 217. This year, however, we're going to do it a little bit differently. It's more geared towards addressing some of the issues and concerns and questions that were raised last year by the audience, which was, hey, it's not fair, that car was not set up, it didn't have slicks, it had different brakes. We have selected Lee Keene to drive because he was going to be at the event, and I thought, wow, another opportunity. We'll change things up a little bit. Last year we had Brian Sellers.
Chopped liver now. Played second fiddle to Lee Keene. He's tall, he's handsome. I'm not sure about that suit though. Not sure about the suit.
Less than 100 were made.
My name is Lee Keene. I'm the owner of the Keene Project. I'm a professional driver, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I spent some time in a 993 GT2 when I was a kid, thanks to my dad. So I have a soft spot for GT2 race cars. I've been excited about this car ever since I heard the news that it was going to be out.
It will be tested prior to the event. He will have an opportunity to drive several laps in both cars, come in. Goldcrest Motorsports will make any adjustments that he deems necessary. Sticker tires will be put on both cars, and then Lee will have an opportunity to put down 4 or 5 hot laps at the end of the day today. Lee has done a lot of work with Porsches. He knows both cars. He's currently driving an MR Cup car.
What I think is going to help our car do well is the fact that it's a pure race car. Even though the GT2 has 200 more horsepower, I think that the GT3 Cup is going to give a run for its money. If we lose, I'm going to say it's going to be by a narrow margin, maybe a half second to 1 second max.
So my guess is the Clubsport wins by less than 1 second.
So the Cup car I ran at 211.7, but the 2 RS smoked it pretty bad at 208.5, which is pretty dang good around Road America.
The GT2 was impressive today out there. I think that we need to crown a new king of gentleman driver cars. Out of the box, never been on track. Impressed with Lee King and his ability in the matter of 5 or 6 laps to completely dial in a car. At the same time, I was disappointed because I was hoping for the Cup car to do better, but the new car is so impressive.
It was really weird actually hopping in back and forth because in the bigger picture, the 2 cars are both 911s and the lap time is pretty close. The feeling was so different. The Cup car felt way lighter. The engine screaming, the gearbox screaming. Felt more raw, more free. The car was loose with a little oversteer and more pushy. I mean, it was telling me all these things. Basically, you're just kind of on a tightrope, just barely walking, just trying to stay on top of it. Then hopping in the Clubsport, everything was real smooth. It was quiet. You get all these new Porsche race car smells, which are always nice. And it basically just did what you wanted it to. You turn the wheel, the front grip was there. It would put the nose down to the corner. You mash the throttle, the rear grip's there for you, accelerate out. And then the brakes too, the tire stayed on the pavement and the car slowed down at a very consistent rate. So the Clubsport gave you a lot of confidence, whereas the Cup car didn't give you as much. And that's with TC and ESC off.
I did not expect the variance between those 2 cars. The Clubsport really, really amazed me.
You were able to get into that car brand new and be able to go out and drive it comfortably. I think Porsche is making good strides in giving us gentleman drivers a race car that we can comfortably drive right out of the gates, right out of the box.
It's interesting to see kind of where these race cars are going. We have more of a street car whooping up on a Cup car, which was kind of the standard for a long time. I think the car was built for the amateur driver, a Porsche lover, and they did a really good job because it's fast, it looks really cool, and it's fun to drive.
This year we had 2 race cars, and both race cars were set up for Road America. I just didn't anticipate that the Clubsport would be 7-8 seconds faster than the street car, because essentially they're the same car. The biggest differences are suspension, that is more Cup car, brakes, and of course the tires, which everybody was asking last year, oh, why wouldn't you put slicks on it? And they don't make slicks for the big ceramic brakes on that car. However, this year was the great equalizer. The cars were equal and the horsepower won.
Sweet. Yeah.